So today is October the 7th. 2 years ago, we had the horrific attacks from the terrorist organization Hamas, Palestinian Jihad, and even the civilians from Gaza into Israel. People murdered at music festivals, in their homes, in kibbutzes all around Gaza, babies put into ovens, women raped, torture. It was horrifying. The most shocking attack on the Jews since World War II, and really something terrible that occurred. And since then, we have been watching the spiraling wars against Israel as the Gaza war continued over this entire period, and multiple fronts came against Israel consistently over the last 2 years, fighting against her, living constantly under rocket fire and attack from any side, and massive attacks from Iran from all angles through those octopus terrorist tentacles. October 7 for me is like 9/11, and I'm making the comparison for Americans. I can remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened. I remember where I was standing, what I was doing, everything. That's how it impacted the world, not just America. And I remember it like yesterday. I remember watching everything take place, and it was a shock to the system back then. October 7 is the same for me. I remember waking up to the news of what had just happened, how that molded my entire following day, how I changed appointments and things that I had so I could just process the shock of what they had gone through, so that I could grieve and weep for what had just taken place and what I knew was lying ahead for Israel. So before I share just some short articles about the latest developments there, I want to ask you to continue praying for Israel, for the hostages that are still alive, who have endured horrific conditions, Nazi concentration camp conditions, by people who hate them desperately, have been educated to hate them. And we pray that the Lord works in everyone's lives and brings them to a saving grace knowledge of Jesus. Pray for the families of the hostages, who are now more than ever having so much hope that they might actually see a release of those who are still alive and those who are dead, so that they can bury them. Everything hinging on the next few days to see if these terrorists that never follow through on anything, that are always twisting everything, will actually release all of them finally and bring this to a close into the next chapter that the darkness is planning for Israel. So pray for all involved, pray for all suffering, pray for all the chaos taking place there. Have a heart for Israel and for everyone around Israel involved in this situation. Our heart is for mankind to meet Jesus Christ, the ultimate one, who can bring peace and soothe people. Trump is threatening to bomb Iran again, but Israel may beat him to it. Iran is rebuilding their nuclear sites and has told Western countries there will be no more negotiations. On the other side, the US and Israel have both pledged that Iran will not be allowed to rebuild their nuclear program, and in fact on Sunday, Trump publicly threatened to bomb Iran again. The interesting thing is, a lot of American military aircraft and bombers have suddenly been moved to the Middle East. Maybe a whole operation is in the planning right now, set to take place after the Nobel Peace Prize? Hostage deal. Netanyahu gets the green light from Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, the two who would have pushed back the hardest. Netanyahu secured coalition support to begin the hostage deal, as Smotrich and Ben-Gvir warn that they won't tolerate a Gaza agreement that leaves Hamas intact. I agree with them 100%. Netanyahu received the green light to implement the first stage of the hostage deal from the majority of the senior coalition members. So Israel's on board and ready to move forward. Netanyahu says the Trump peace plan will not be implemented until all hostages are in Israel. In a firm stance amidst ongoing tensions in the Middle East, the Israeli Prime Minister has declared no elements of Trump's proposed peace plan will proceed until all hostages are safely returned to Israel. Furthermore, Netanyahu outlined Israel's role in post-conflict Gaza, affirming the country will oversee disarmament efforts in the Strip. He made it clear that neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority would have any involvement in governing the area after the war ends, aiming to ensure long-term stability and security, or better known as peace and security, peace and safety. The problem there is the Palestinian Authority has been rallying the UN all along to make sure that they are the leadership involved when all of this wraps up. Israel says no. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Keep praying for them, keep watching. The entire Middle East is a tinderbox again right now. And then there's Iran. What are they planning? But God.